Now, yesterday, kind of out of nowhere, Jagex dropped a blog detailing a brand new launcher for RuneScape, or more specifically for Jagex. Now, although at first I'm thinking, well, great, another launcher, we'll add that to my other dozen I have on my desktop. But I actually think it's worth discussing because of a few things that were mentioned that the launcher will have in the future and how that will impact how you can access old school RuneScape, because there are a few interesting things here. So as of yesterday, the new Jagex launcher is now in beta and anyone can go ahead and download it and try it out. I would highly recommend doing this because eventually it might be the only way to access this game. Now there will be a link in my description to the download link, so let's go ahead and install it and have a look. So there we go, we have it installed. So now we just have to log in with our RuneScape account. Currently you can only add one of them, but it is a beta and in the future there's going to be a lot more features. We're going to discuss that in a minute. Okay, so here we are, we have my main account logged in, and right now, 2 games. I mean, some people think it's a bit optimistic to even call this the Jagex launcher. You might as well just call it the RuneScape launcher, but who knows? They might have another successful title in the future. But currently, you can go ahead and install RuneScape, or you can go ahead and install old school RuneScape. Now, in general, it'll locate exactly where your installation file is, but for now, the beta will only function with the official Jagex Java client. But don't worry, this is also going to be compatible with RuneLite, and hopefully eventually also the C++ client, and maybe some kind of Steam integration or something like that. Okay, so we'll go ahead and install old school RuneScape like I don't already have it, but you know, I don't have the actual base client apparently. Now once it's installed or located your installation file, you can hit play, and there you go, old school RuneScape has been launched. Also, you don't need to log in again, and the launcher will actually remember your login details for up to 30 days. You no longer will have to type in your login every single time. Oh man, I forgot what the default client is like. Now that said, I think the launcher looks pretty nice. It's pretty simple, but it does its job. Alright, so why is a new launcher a big deal? Well, a couple of reasons. Now to start with here, from the frequently asked questions, there's a really important piece of information under the do I need to use the Jagex launcher section? Well, the answer is not yet. During the open beta phase, you're free to boot up the game as you always have, or you can use the new Jagex launcher. However, eventually, the launcher will become the only way of accessing any Jagex game, including RuneScape and old school RuneScape. So what that means is after the launcher has moved out of beta, more features have been added, you're going to most likely need to use this launcher to play the game. Now in its current state, that would be an absolute disaster. Forcing players to use the default Java client would just, that would just be a terrible business decision. But luckily it's been confirmed that RuneLite will be an official partner in this, and you'll be able to use RuneLite through the launcher. So that is by far the most important thing to have added, of course. If Jagex killed RuneLite, I am certain like half the player base would leave, if not more, but thankfully it has been added. Now that begs the question, what happens to all of the other clients out there? OS Buddy, cheat clients, or other forks of RuneLite even? Well, most likely those will not be allowed. I think Jagex is working on an official launcher to help get rid of a lot of clients, probably more specifically cheat clients, and less legitimate ways to access the game. And through an official launcher, they'll have a lot more control over what's a bannable offense and what's not. So I do think this actually could have some very serious benefits to anti-botting measures and cracking down on other illegitimate ways of playing RuneScape. Now, there are a couple other benefits to the launcher as well. To begin with here, it should help bring improvements to the too many login attempts issue. Now this is something I've had as well as a ton of other players, more specifically people who've had accounts for a long time. Currently the only workaround is using a different way to log in like mobile, or I think even the Steam client helps fix it, but the new launcher apparently does also offer improvements to that as well. Also, having RuneLite installed directly from the official launcher really will help prevent people getting phished or getting scammed or getting viruses from illegitimate copies of the download, and that's a very common issue that a lot of players run into. And also it'll just make it easier to log in as it remembers your details, simplifying the whole experience. Now there are a few downsides. The first one is because this will become a required feature, if Jagex messes up, people are going to be very annoyed. So currently it's in beta, so there's obviously going to be some features missing, but one huge one is currently you can only launch one instance of RuneScape or old school RuneScape at a time, which means no multi-logging with the launcher yet. Now that said, it does seem almost confirmed that that feature is going to be coming soon and will definitely be there before the launcher goes out of beta. So obviously they're trying to think of everything here, but if there's something pretty important that's missing, well, there's no way around it. Now this also could indicate that because RuneLite is being officially integrated into a official launcher, the leeway they have with some of the plugins might be reduced a bit. Currently there's tons of plugins in the plugin hub, those might not be allowed anymore. Custom forks of RuneLite probably won't be allowed. And overall just the scope of third-party clients are most likely going to be reined in a bit. Whether you think that's a good or bad thing or not, that seems to be where it's heading. Now, probably one of the biggest impacts that this launcher could have is on how easy it is to bot and how easy it is to use heavily modified kind of cheaty clients. Now, will this make this problem go away instantly? Probably not. There is almost always going to be some sort of workaround, a way to spoof the client, a way to trick the safeguards that are in place. It will definitely not perfectly solve the problem, but could have a very positive effect. I think potentially yes. Now, realistically, this seems like a much more palatable way for Jagex to just have an official client. They kind of adopted RuneLite and they're casting away all other options, which, like it or not, will allow them to have much more control over how you access the game and what features you will have access to. If you think about in the past how a lot of players botted, it was almost always through a third-party client. Even today, where players are more likely using heavily modified custom clients or versions of RuneLite, OpenOSRS, stuff like that, those would all be much harder to access. It could be a bannable offense to use these clients at all. Or Jagex could just have a strong enough security to just not let you log in with one of these clients. So I personally think that this could vastly improve the integrity of this game, and I think it's going to be worth making a few sacrifices to get there. Botting and cheating is by far one of the biggest issues that has plagued this game for 20 years, and I think this is a great step in trying to tackle those problems. So anyway, that's going to be it for today's video. Let me know what you guys think of the new launcher. Do you think it's going to be effective at tackling botting cheat clients, or do you think it's just going to be another hoop to jump through? Thanks for watching as always, and I will see you next time. Now before I go here, I want to give a giant thank you to all of my members over on YouTube. Thank you so much to Nello, Alejandra, The Hybrid, and Kush Patel for all being subscribed to the Dragon tier. Really, I appreciate it so much. Also a giant thank you to Kaitin987, Mexose, Basstich, MDM001, and yoyosup89 for being subscribed to the RuneLite tier. Appreciate you guys as well. As always, if anyone's looking for a direct way to support me, YouTube membership is the best way to do so. You'll get immortalized in all of my future videos, you can get a custom role on my Discord server, and you'll even know when all my videos are coming out. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.